All right, we're back with another video. So some questions for you on the hot seat.
Yeah.
So you were asking questions in regards to what got me out of gaming or what slowed me down. I thought about the opposite. What are things that launched you back into gaming? What are some experiences or lifestyle changes that threw you back in? Because you used to not be, I guess, a quote unquote gamer. You skipped like 2 to 3 generations. What threw you back in? What experiences, lifestyle changes, what happened to get you back in?
I'm a gamer at core from back in the 90s, you know, and I think I grew up too fast. Joined the military, adulted too quickly, and then when I got out, I started like full speed at my career, had kids, really sunk into like side businesses, had cafes. I mean, just like everything in the adult world got thrown at me. And when I left my government job and then my cafes fell, what would you say? They didn't do so well. They went under. It was a hard reset. But during that phase that I could kind of see that this wasn't going to work out. I realized, okay, like what am I driving for? And one of the things that I enjoyed most was at that time, we were starting to have these game nights on Fridays. We would meet up, we would have a lot of fun. And then we just got like further and further. And I remember probably one of the most naive mistakes I made was making a list of games that I thought this was definitive. This was all the games that I was going to buy. And very quickly did I get sidetracked from that list. And I started buying other games. And before I knew it, I had like sunk back into it, but like 10 times worse. I mean, my spending in gaming was ridiculous. We weren't just buying CRTs. Now we were buying PVMs. We were buying $200 games. And I wasn't used to spending that kind of money on things that I enjoyed. So I had to reset my mind from buying business and necessities to what is it that just brings you joy. And I'm not saying games entirely fulfill everything, but it is a big part. I think I realized how important it was, especially our game nights. Like, man, I don't think people, or maybe sometimes we don't fully realize that there's a lot of people that don't have the luxury to be able to link up with their friends and their brothers on a particular night once a week, regularly, consistently. Most people, something happens, the career happens, someone has a kid, and then there you go, like high school friends gone, like you never see them again. And I think I saw how important those type of relationships and moments were. So always grateful for them.
So one thing you mentioned in the past and a little bit in terms of the cost, you mentioned that the cost factor was not as high or as expensive as other hobbies. Now, maybe we're just privileged to have more expensive hobbies, but what was it about this? I mean, it is expensive in terms of gaming, but it's not as expensive as other people's hobbies. I don't know, like fishing, cars,
boats, hot rods,
going out, like that's expensive. And you get into trouble like DUIs and...
Gaming is relatively inexpensive, but it can be very sneaky. It's like you go to the game store and $10 here, $10 there. And then, oh, I really like that one. Oh, that's a collector's edition. That's going to be worth a lot of money. And you better not miss out on that, because then it's going to be worth double and you're not going to be able to find it. And so much FOMO in the gaming industry. And I think that's what's sometimes frustrating about it. And you really have to, over time, kind of develop your sense of what you really want, because then you just start buying a bunch of shit. Something
that I thought about when you were peaking at your most productive in terms of work life and starting side business, you were venturing out financially. I was doing almost borderline the opposite. I was diving into school. I was bumming out, trying to enjoy the most of my quote unquote youth as an early 20-year-old.
Best golden years,
Yeah, looking back on it, don't realize it, but I was in the middle of it. But would you see somebody in that same or similar mental space as counterproductive to goals in life? Is gaming essentially unproductive as unwinding mechanism?
To a certain extent, yeah. I think there's a sweet spot for everyone. For me, I think no more than 2 hours straight. I usually have to, after 2 hours, I kind of get brain rot. I got to step away. If I come back later, for me, that works. I think for a lot of people, you fall into just the dopamine rush that you get from gaming, and you just keep chasing it and becomes a hard habit to break. But I think it's a game of balance. I think you should still be productive towards other goals outside of gaming. Like sometimes it's fantasy talk, but like what can you do maybe to be involved with gaming, or maybe that ruins the habit, but something's got to pay the bills for gaming or for you to have this luxury, and you can't just game forever. Otherwise you're just at mom's, your whole life. So finding the balance of a gaming, I think that's kind of where you're at, like finding the balance of work and still maintaining a healthy lifestyle to where you still have room for gaming. And then you just got to get real picky about what you game after that though.